Farron, in the first segment, we were talking our general broad perspectives on the Mueller hearings. You were a little bit less impressed than I was in terms of the information that came out. Were there specific moments, though, that you thought were important and that will function? I mean, because really the bottom line here, right, is will this in any way move the ball forward for more or oversight, and specifically get us closer to having impeachment hearings?
Well, I think in terms of getting us closer to having impeachment hearings, we've obviously seen a lot of calls for that, just since the hearings took place, but we're not hearing it from the leadership. And I don't think we're going to hear it from the leadership. I mean, short of him coming out yesterday or Wednesday, and sitting down and saying, listen, I've got all kinds of stuff to tell you guys. Let me list all the crimes I haven't told you. Short of him doing that, I don't think anything was going to move the ball with Pelosi on the issue of impeachment. And obviously that didn't happen. As I mentioned, the reason I think this whole thing to me was a little bit of, what's the point, was because of the hype around it. Especially when we get those reports that came out on Tuesday from Politico that the Democrats were going all in. This was going to be their thing. They had the media response team. They had people sitting by on Twitter to tweet out, all the horrible things that we were going to find out. They were going to use it, actually. This was the plan. They were going to use these hearings to somehow try to shame the Senate Democrats into passing election security bills. This was their plan, as if those people can be shamed into doing anything. And so seeing the hype on that and obviously spending probably a little too much time on social media, people thinking that Mueller is going to save us, that was never going to happen. But as you pointed out, we did get some great stuff. Absolutely. And Mueller made it clear this is not an exoneration by any stretch of the imagination. Had it not been for the OLC, we probably would have gone ahead and gone forward with charges. And obviously one of the big ones, when he leaves office, assuming that's in 2021 in January, you can still prosecute him. So that door has not shut yet. It will likely be shut if he gets reelected. But those were some of the big moments, obviously. And of course, the massive discussion of election interference. And I think that is what Mueller desperately wanted to get across to the public more than anything else, that, yeah, there was interference. Yes, it benefited Donald Trump. But guess what? It's still happening today, and something has to be done about that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that we're probably going to move impeachment a little bit closer. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, maybe the idea is that she was going to, people claim that she has some type of 10-dimensional chess going on here. She's clearly trying to run out the clock. I think it's a huge mistake. I think we enter into an impeachment inquiry knowing that the Republicans in the Senate will not vote on it. The only other thing I could speculate on is that Chuck Schumer is so weak that he is afraid that he cannot even carry the Democratic caucus in such a vote. In the event that Mitch McConnell would hold a vote, I suspect that is what is the biggest fear, frankly, is that the Democrats in the Senate would be afraid to vote for impeachment, and that would embarrass a lot of the people in the House. And by embarrass, I mean severely hurt their reelection chances if you can't even get the Democratic caucus in the Senate. But nevertheless, it's an important opportunity to put Republicans on the spot for their support for a criminal president. And we're going to have, 14, 15 months between now and the election. And if the Democrats do not do something, and let's be clear here, right? They have passed 55, maybe 60 now, bills that is really very close to the wish list of, the 75% of the wish list of Democrats, right? We're talking about things like rolling back Citizens United, things like $15 minimum wage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And no one has paid attention. No one has cared. Largely, I imagine, because these are, largely symbolic votes because we don't have a president who will sign any of them. And also, I think people don't care because Donald Trump is the name of the game. And the bottom line is that if you're not going to perform oversight, you're not going to impeach, and you've run out of bills, dream bills to pass, what do you intend to do for the next year and a half? And why would you assume that Republicans not under pressure are not going to start digging into, Benghazi part 11 or whatever it is? Like this is the huge miscalculation here. And I just thought that the Democrats, particularly on the judiciary, I didn't think they did a very good job. I thought Nadler did good at the beginning, and I thought there was Zoe Loughran got a couple of good questions in. Ken Buck, a Republican, accidentally stepped in it. Got Mueller to say that you could charge the president after the fact. David Ciccolini from Rhode Island got Mueller to make it clear that, yes, you can be charged with obstruction, even if it's unsuccessful, even if there's no underlying crime, both those instances. Cedric Richmond got Mueller to agree that Trump administration had falsified records to protect Trump. Val Demings gets Mueller to agree that the Trump campaign impeded the investigation. Like I said, you had Maloney on the issue of a subpoena. Also in the Intelligence Committee, you had Mueller going so far as to not say the word impeach. He said, well, the constitutional processes are one of those things you just mentioned, right? I mean, it was absurd. It was like asking a cat to touch its paw on some type of a button. But I'll give you the last word. We got 30 seconds left, Farron. What do you think we can expect going forward? Are we just going to forget about this or what?
See, I don't think it gets forgotten. And I think the people in the House who are pushing for impeachment, and we're hearing it from more and more presidential candidates, Elizabeth Warren's out there saying it. But an impeachment inquiry, this obstruction of justice has to be the, basically the foundation of it. But you've got to also expand it to emoluments violations, the bank records, the tax returns, up in New York especially. All of that needs to be part of it. And we could get it done, or at least get enough info in 12 months to really show the public who this guy is. And the inquiry has to happen. I don't care if Pelosi thinks it's a bad idea. It's probably one of the best ways to ensure a victory in 2020.